Aaron Nesmith has a new contract. Bennedict Mathurin does not. Kam Jones got arrested. And we're going to talk about the preseason, what matters from and how it leads into the regular season. Holy smokes, it's a loaded Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, holy smokes, we get into a lot of stuff. Recorded for over half an hour with Kyle Taylor, talking about preseason basketball, not just deep diving into preseason, but specifically what we saw in those games that's going to matter in the regular season. That will come after about 5 to 10 minutes here from just me telling you all about the very newsy Monday for the Indiana Pacers. Aaron Nesmith, contract extension. Bennedict Mathurin, Kam Jones got arrested in the morning. Ooh, what an insane day. Let's just get to it let's go reverse chronological order here. Aaron Nesmith, it's the most recent thing. That's why I'm starting with it. Signs a 2-year, $40.5 million contract extension with the Pacers. Absolute grand slam home run for the Pacers. I did not think, I said on the show many times, if I were advising Aaron Nesmith, I would tell him not to take it. The difference between the contract I commonly talked about with him and what he signed is his max extension was 3 years, $63 million, 2 years, $40, just takes off that third year. Aaron Nesmith will now enter free agency if he does not extend off this deal when he is 29 years old. So this does not kick in until the 27-28 season. Aaron Nesmith will be still paid less than $20 million that season. I truly thought at one point this offseason this was a plausible, reasonable contract. Then Keegan Murray, who's about Nesmith's age, got 5 for $140. Christian Braun earlier today or yesterday for you listening, got 5 for $125. Dyson Daniels, who's quite good, got 4 for $100. Herb Jones was low 20s, but a little over this in per year value. I just thought a couple players that Aaron Nesmith was straight up better than, not all those players, but some of them got mid to high 20s. I thought, I just don't think now the market merits Aaron Nesmith jumping in early on an extension, and yet he did it. Rhett Bauer and I really dove into the reasoning for this early in the offseason. If you want to listen to that podcast, it really holds up, but I talked about it yesterday too. There's obviously injury risk anytime, and Aaron Nesmith's stock is quite high right now. He just had a great season and a great playoffs, even with the injury. 50, 40, 90 last year, albeit didn't qualify for league leaders because he didn't play enough games. You just never know if you're going to get hurt. You never know if he's going to look a little worse without Haliburton playing. He had a great preseason, but I think there were reasons for him to take it, and a nice compromise between reasons for him to take it and reasons for him to not would be make it shorter, right? That's a little more player-friendly, but for the Pacers, just a smashing home run because he's already under contract for this coming season that has not started and doesn't start till Thursday at $11 million. Then the following season again at $11 million. Then his 2-year extension starts with 19.5 in 27-28 and then $21 million in 28-29. So yes, it's a 2-year, $40 million basically extension for Aaron Nesmith, but it really means he is now under contract with the Pacers for 4 years at $62 million. That's unbelievable. He's a starting level. His biggest problem is his height because he's a starting level 3-and-D wing. He is a great player. He fits the Pacers style very well. He would literally die for basketball, as he told us, against the Bucks in the playoffs. He's been very good in 2 straight postseasons. He can defend the likes of Jalen Brunson in the playoffs. That is an incredibly valuable player. Aaron Nesmith is very good. The Pacers should be thrilled that this extension is agreed to. And beyond that, so extension things are funny because they don't start right away. It's not like anything changes for their immediate future. Their cap reality changes. But having good players for longer is good, especially when this entire new deal still doesn't even take him into his 30s. I would say the biggest cap takeaways are as follows. One, the Pacers starters from last year's playoff run. Obviously, Miles Turner's on the Bucks. The other 4 are now all under contract for the next 3 seasons. Nesmith and Haliburton both for the next 4. Obi Toppin is also under contract for the next 3 seasons. If you would like to identify the Pacers' time horizon, obviously Tyrese Haliburton's going to miss one of those 3 seasons. Cap hit thing number 2 is 27, 28, when this kicks in, you think, okay, they added money to their books. Right now, they're still projected to be a little under the salary cap that season, just based on their guaranteed salaries. However, there's 2 NBA drafts between now and then. A ton of free agents will happen for the Pacers between now and then. I still think they'll be an over-the-cap team then, but the year this starts, they still have a ton of flexibility. So what this does to me is it gives them clarity. They know their core players are going to be around for a long time unless the Pacers decide to trade them. I think that's a very smart thing to do, is to know your future as strongly as you can. So for Nesmith, while I, again, thought he might not do this after seeing some of the deals in recent days, I do get why he would do it. I think the shorter compromise balances some of the risks he had. The Pacers, I would have offered him the max. I would have offered him this. I would have offered him a 1-year extension because he's a great player and worth the max the Pacers could have offered because of the NBA's extension rules. This is a thumbs-up win-win, just like his last extension, this time a little more certainty. And I believe, given that his rookie scale deal at the 14th pick in 2020 wasn't like so high, and then 3 years, $33 million, like this contract is only 2 years and basically is worth what his career earnings were to this point. So a home run for everyone. A great move. 50, 40, 90 guys scores 12 points a game and continues to do so in the postseason with great defense. He's obviously not a perfect player, but that is an excellent, excellent, excellent 3rd, 4th, 5th starter, whatever he's going to be this year, plus other future seasons. Great move by the Pacers. Benn Mathurin does not extend. A lot of fans reacted to this, calling people stupid or not. I just don't think, I can't, maybe I'm not getting through to people, but if you're a big fan of Benn Mathurin, you should not have wanted him to extend. It's better for him not to, because he could get paid for what you think he is as a player. It made no sense to me for either side to do that, and that's what the resolution was. No extension for Benn Mathurin. I've seen a lot of tweets that say he will be a restricted free agent next year. He probably will be. I would assume he'll get a qualifying offer. That's never a guarantee. But regardless, I will say that he almost 99.9% sure will be a restricted free agent next summer. If he balls out, great. The Pacers can match. If he doesn't, they can negotiate. It's fine. He still might be on the Pacers next year. But he has a huge role coming his way and could far exceed what his market value is right now. With a good season, he stands to make more. There's no reason for Benn Mathurin to have won an extension. For the Pacers, sure, he's a good player. You want to lock up good players, but it's hard to project exactly what you're paying him for, given what his past role is and given what his future role is about to be, or even could be if he has another great season. This one totally made sense to wait. I predicted that for basically the entire offseason. And lo and behold, I think that is where both sides settled. I think that is, similar to Nesmith, a win-win for both parties, right? That in that waiting makes sense for both and is beneficial for both. It doesn't seem that way because a good player is not getting paid, but because of restricted free agency and a huge role coming Mathurin's way, I also consider that a win-win, which is why it made sense to me that it did not happen. In the end, a lot of people will say this: they should lock up their good players. Yes, they should. Guess what? They can't lose Benn Mathurin. If he's awesome, they can just match a contract he would sign with another team, right? The only way they lose him is if they choose to trade him, which might happen. They could trade anybody, but that this was a reasonable outcome to the situation to me. We will see where this goes once the season starts. He is eligible to sign a new contract with the Pacers the day after the finals end next season. A lot of people, when the Nesmith thing came through, said, oh, they did this, but not Mathurin. They don't even overlap. Nesmith's extension doesn't start till 2027. Benn Mathurin's free agency is in 2026 when his new deal would start. They could sign Mathurin and Nesmith. The years they start don't overlap. They have wiggle room next year if they want to pay Mathurin market value. It's fine. They don't. This is not choosing one or the other at all. In fact, it's kind of the opposite because of the years they start and the clarity they now have. They know for sure they can afford Benn Mathurin. Now they know Aaron Nesmith's going to be, I think, underpaid 2 years from now. That's the contract news of Monday. The human news and basketball, non-basketball news, but sort of basketball news. Like 10 a.m., Kam Jones, the rookie guard who has not played yet because of a back injury. I'm going to be reading a lot of Needy Stars report because they have stuff from court documents that I haven't looked at myself yet. But 9:47 a.m., state police clocked Kam Jones going 90 miles per hour up thereabouts, driving erratically on I-65 near the North Splits. It was pretty close to downtown. They said that his car was changing lanes. Obviously, that's well over the speed limit because there it drops quite a bit. I'm explaining too much about Indy there if you're not from here, but not using turn signals. So they went to pull him over, and then he failed to immediately do so. And so he gets hit with 2 charges there for that. He told the police, according to the court documents, that he was running late for practice for the Indiana Pacers. And that this is obviously not good, right? Let's start there. I'm trying to find another document that I was sent earlier today so I can properly describe to you what the charges actually ended up being. So, yes, okay, a misdemeanor for reckless driving and a grade 6 felony for resisting law enforcement. This is bad, right? This is just not a good thing. First and foremost, let me address this. A lot of immediate replies. I think this is like the biggest thing people want to know about. Where like some people straight up said, cut him immediately, cut him right now. Okay, let me be clear first on this. None of us, including you saying that, outside of Kam Jones and the officer or officers who arrested him, know all of the information right now of what actually happened, how long this whole pursuit was, how erratically and dangerously he was driving. So first of all, hold your judgment unless you are one of those people. But like, obviously putting other people in danger is very bad. But we have precedent of what and to be clear, like punishment should come for doing so. If you put other people in danger and do something stupid, not getting cut from an NBA team, but punishment should come your way. Like that should happen. I don't know what that is, but let's talk about precedent. 2015, which is a relevant year because Kevin Pritchard was in the Pacers front office, second in command behind Larry Bird. Many of you might not remember this. Jordan Hill, in his 1 year with the Pacers, it was late July. He was driving in Atlanta. He got pulled over going 107 miles per hour. He played 73 games that season. He was not waived. Lance Stevenson, similarly, after being drafted as a rookie, got arrested in 2010. Neither of those players were waived, right? So I do not think Kam Jones is getting cut both on precedent and on, what actually happened here. But however, it is okay to say what he did is bad and potentially dangerous to other people. He should not be driving like that at all. And obviously should have pulled over. Some people get freaked out when the lights pop behind them or whatever. Still got to do it. It's not good. I do think there will be punishment. I don't know what form that comes of or what is fair in that case. I do not think he's going to be cut, but I think any other take requires more information. It's very boring. You want takes from me. I get it. That's why you're here. I don't really have anything to say beyond that. I look forward to learning more and hearing more. His hearing date, his first court date, is on Thursday when the Pacers regular season begins in the morning. That is his court hearing date. He's obviously not going to play until at least mid-November because of this back injury that he is dealing with. I think I got all the details that I wanted to get to on that. It's been a while since a Pacers arrest, so I had to go back in the bag and find some of the old things. Jordan Hill was the last one. But again, KP was there. Like they've gone through this before. So we'll find out more on that in coming days, I would imagine. But that is the busy news Monday. Let's get Kyle Taylor in here. This is about to be a super long podcast to talk preseason hoops, what we learned about the Pacers, what it's going to mean for the regular season. That's all coming now on Locked On Pacers. Before we do that, I want to tell you guys about 2 great groups of people. First up is Built. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. They're changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built is not just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. You can use Built in a way that makes rent finally work for you. You're earning points every month on something that you already have to pay. Whether you're grabbing food at your favorite local restaurant or heading to the gym, you're earning rewards. Built has made everyday life feel more rewarding, from your neighborhood to your travel plans. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt, BILT.com/LockedOnNBA. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use that link so they know that we sent you. We also got to talk about Skims. Skims is making underwear for men. It's intriguing. And let me tell you, I have 4 pairs now. I got 2, and I like to buy. I bought more. I've heard so much about their quality before. I had to try it. Lives up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear in the past, especially in college, like fit, comfort, finding the right style. It's kind of a journey for everybody. Skims changes that. Their men's line offers something for everybody, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the same balance of comfort or style. There's so many things for everybody. Their boxer briefs, their stretch 5-inch, their travelers, their cotton briefs. I have actually many versions of these. I love the stretch boxer briefs. If you're working out a lot, if you're moving a lot, sometimes it feels like work on underwear. It's a little too loose, but not with Skims Men's. It is the missing link. They give you all the movement you need without feeling like you're walking around wearing gym clothes the rest of the day. They never lose their shape. They never ride up. Might be my head, but I swear helps me feel a little bit better when I'm moving around. I'm hooked. You've got to try them yourself. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you after your place to order. Select podcast in the survey and select this show in the drop-down menu that follows. 3 months apart, we're back. Kyle Taylor is here to talk about the Pacers and the regular season, kind of preseason into regular season. What did we learn about the Pacers? How are we projecting how they'll play now? Do we really feel certain about their rotation? I'm not really sure that I do, especially because they're so hurt. Kyle, hello. How are you? Did you survive whatever preseason basketball means to you?
I survived probably without, I think I watched one fourth quarter, but mostly I got back into the team okay. To be honest, I took like a complete break from all things basketball between June and October, and I didn't really know how it would feel to watch the team play again. Mostly it felt good. Starting 5, too soon, but mostly preseason basketball was good for my soul.
Well, what I just learned from Kyle is any opinion he has of Ray J. Dennis, invalid. He did not watch the fourth quarters to know about sweet Ray J. bombing threes and making some nice passes. Who might actually be the backup point guard on opening.
I watched him against Minnesota. Did I watch OKC or San Antonio?
No. Again, he will talk about him because he actually literally might be their healthiest backup point guard for their first game of the season. Okay, preseason was very interesting for the Pacers. I still love the way Aaron Nesmith phrased this. And I've kind of taken it maybe too much to my core, but on media day, when he was asked about the team's play style, he said, we'll play at Aaron's pace instead of Tyrese's pace. I like that way of thinking about their change of speed and style. And Kyle's pointing at me. Do you not like this phrasing?
Because he said two things.
Okay, go.
On media day, Aaron Nesmith said, we're going to play at Andrew's pace. To Zach Lowe on his show, in the last few days, he said, we're going to surprise you with how fast we're going to play.
They do look faster. I was getting there.
Yeah, a man of two minds, Aaron Nesmith. Double A giving us sort of like double takes here, where on the one hand, he says they're going to play at Andrew's pace, I think implying slower. I have sort of my own opinion as to whether they're faster or slower, and I would say that there's a difference between their speed in transition or off misses versus their speed in the half court, but we'll get to it.
Is faster better is a question worth asking. I mean, I could just tell you all right now listening. Their pace in the preseason was over 103, according to NBA.com. Take for that what you will. It was 4 games. That would be faster than last year. That also is kind of meaningless because every team's playing faster. That was 16th of the 34 teams that played a preseason game, right? If it's actually faster but comparatively not faster, how does that actually feel? Because last year to start the season, they were playing about as fast as they were the year before, but everybody else sped up. So they were like 8th or 9th, and it didn't feel quite as zippy and threatening as it did the year before. I just bit my lip so hard I'm bleeding. That's a good start to a podcast conversation. But anyway, Andrew's pace, this change in style, we'll maybe talk about pace specifically, but to me, the thing that struck me a little bit is at times, and mostly at times, I mean, when just the starters are on the floor, it did feel kind of similar to me. They got the ball moving around. They generated open shots for players that can make it from the spots they did. Their efficiency in those minutes were largely good. The difference was their emphases, because Tyrese Haliburton is such a possession-dominant player, never turns it over on high volume. This version of the Speedy Pacers turned it over a ton. They finished with the 3rd worst turnover rate of any team in the preseason. They tried, with some success but some failures, to counterbalance that with better rebounding. And they did have, compared to last year, a higher compared to the league rebound rate, but not high enough to completely offset what they're losing in the turnovers. I've been rambling for a long time, Kyle. How did you feel about all of that? Do you agree with my assessment of that? And is this the right approach for them to take from these exhibitions into the season?
So when you said emphases, I felt like I saw two things. I actually don't think it quite felt the same. I felt that there was an extreme emphasis.
Let me be clear, by the way, only felt the same with the full starters on the floor. Mix and match groups did not feel the same at all.
We're talking starters and starters right now.
Right.
And I'm saying when I saw the starters move the ball up the floor off misses and in transition, Andrew Nembhard is looking up. So I suppose maybe it felt the same, but it is not the same way that those same players were playing in the same situations a year ago.
Sure.
And I felt that there was this extreme emphasis off misses and in transition to throw the hit-ahead pass. Every time, again, off misses and in transition, they're doing that. I did not think that the offensive style always felt like the Pacers in the half court. Partially, and I mean, Minnesota was doing it all the time, but every team sprinkled it in. They're getting zoned a ton.
Yep.
And so zone is intentionally slowing you down, keeping you out of the paint. That's what they're trying to do. And I thought Minnesota in particular was very successful doing that. But that sort of split of half court, not half court offense, that's the emphasis, a difference in emphasis that I felt between the two situations. But there's also what you're getting at is a difference in execution, because the Pacers can try to play the same style, the same process, the same mental decision making of the point guards and the players throwing the hit ahead passes and moving the ball. But when they turn it over, it just doesn't work. That turnovers, you can think of the Pacers style in so many different ways. Probably you think of the pace. Maybe you think of their shooting. I mean, the Pacers were always, for the last few years, they've been one of the best shooting teams in the league by effective field goal percentage, true shooting. They've been an elite team generating wide open threes. They don't take as many threes as other teams, but the ones they take are so high quality. So these quality shots, the pace they play at, but the cornerstone of this offensive philosophy has been the turnover battle. And they have just dominated and taking care of the ball. And I want to make the point even more strongly. I looked at I want to give you some stats. I'm just going to compare the first half stats from last year and the first half stats from this year, which the point is preseason stats. I'm trying to keep the better players on the floor as much as possible. Okay. Last year, again, turnovers, they ranked 9th, turning the ball over 14.1 times per 100 possessions, which is only a little bit worse than their 13 in the regular season. So 14-13, 9th, top 5. This is 19.8 turnovers per 100 possessions in the first half of preseason games this year. That is more than they turned it over during the finals when they were turning it over all the time. It's a huge change in execution. So maybe they think that the emphasis is the same, but to me, it doesn't feel the same.
I understand. That does make sense to me. And it's such a core part of what they do that they not only could play that way, but I wrote this story too. Rick always says he wants to lead the league in passes. That's how they get from action to action so fast as the ball moves and moves and moves and moves. If you're turning it over, you can't do that. That function of your success is either reduced or completely neutralized to a point that you can't quite do the same things. And that's why, yeah, sure, if you hit the glass really hard, maybe if everybody's crashing, right? Benn Mathurin's a good rebounding guard, Nesmith's a good rebounding forward. Their centers are okay. Maybe they could get to 15th, 10th, whatever in rebound rate. But are they getting the same quality of possessions even with that offset? Probably not. That's where you'd wonder if they would change their style or ability at all. And that I can tell you want to butt in so bad sometimes.
No, but when you say this, you're talking about the rebounding rate. And again, just you saw it if you watch the preseason, but the numbers are screaming it. They went from last year in, again, first halves of preseason games, bottom 3 or bottom 5 in offensive rebounding to top 3 in offensive rebounding this year. It's night and day. You can tell that it's a point of emphasis. The Pacers are saying that they want to play the same style, but that is not the same style. Crashing the glass is not the same style.
Not at
all.
all.
You are doing something discernibly different to try and counterbalance the turnover/possession battle that you are losing ground on in some areas. Turnovers, you're turning it over more yourself, and you're trying to get it back in another. And I think that's great. I mean, I was the czar of zany 3 months ago, the last time I appeared on your show, Tony.
You still are, according to the screen.
And so to me, a new emphasis on offensive rebounding, wow, that sounds really exciting. That sounds like something they could grow and learn from as they move through the year and maybe even bring to future years when Tyrese is back, that's great. But again, to me, it is not the same. There is both a question of like stylistic process and are they trying to make the same kinds of decisions, but there's also execution. And the players they have on the team simply don't allow them. I would argue, both from watching the preseason, knowing these players' histories, watching the games, the players they have on the team don't quite allow them to execute their style as effectively as they used to. And so I will continue to perhaps I thought I had lots of development coming to the Czar of Zany Island, but instead, no, it's just me in a shack on the beach. But hopefully soon that beach will become more populated, and hopefully more people will join me. But I want to see these new styles, in part because I don't believe the execution of the Pacers' old way of playing is going to work. And so try some new stuff.
One more break here, everybody. Let's talk about Mint Mobile. If you are still overpaying for wireless, it is time to say yes to saying no at Mint Mobile. Their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, and no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. If you say yes to making the switch, you'll get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it all simple. All plans come with a high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. You get the same quality of service you had before for a fraction of the price. The setup is easy. You keep your number. You're running in minutes. Are you ready to say yes to saying no? Then make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent of $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for more details. Kyle, pop quiz. I doubt you looked this up, but if you did, bravo. 17 teams played 4 preseason games in the NBA this year. What do you think the Pacers ranked among those 17 teams in total offensive possessions? What would your guess be?
I don't know that I even have.
It's probably hard if you didn't watch every team play.
Yeah, I didn't watch enough other preseason play to get a sense for this.
The answer is 6th. And okay, that's in the top third-ish. Like, that's probably good. But within those possessions are their insane turnover rate. So you can tell they're trying to get the possession battle back. And I think that's obvious from their rebounding rate too. And like we've already hammered that through. I think that's clearly something they're trying to do this season. But I wonder at what cost that will come. If they'll become a point where their transition defense is so bad, or they're not good enough on the offensive glass strip, where they're like, they just have to find a way to get their turnovers down. Granted, a lot of turnovers / some come from like guys who are just not going to play that much in the regular season. I get that. Like, that will clean up some of it a little bit naturally. But like Jarris had a lot, Drew had some, like guys that are going to play, we're turning it over too. So at some point, this is not even a style takeaway. This is just players be better. Like, they have to turn it over less. They just have to, or else their style might not be enough. They were about average in both. Just, this is not, I think for me, usually preseason takeaways going into the regular season is not necessarily the results or like the effectiveness, but more so the how you played. That's why we're kind of hammering this. I don't care that they went 2-2, but like, if I had to make that case, their offense was like 20th of the 34 teams that played, and their defense was like 16th or something. I can't remember their defensive rating. I should know that more effectively. Their defense, to be exact, I don't know how the internet works. Their defense was, this is embarrassing. This is poorly researched. Their defense ended at 28th. That is actually much worse than I thought. Their last game really hurt them. Like, if you're losing the possession battle, that balance I just said is terrible. Like, you're not going to be good at all. So they have to solve something some way, and that's why the tweaks of possession were required. But I don't know how much it's going to matter if they're throwing it all over the gym. So the biggest takeaway to me stylistically was that their superpower, playing with pace and passing and random without turning it over, was not there. So even if they play fast and try to play with Andrew's pace or faster, as Aaron Nesmith described, it's not going to work. And that's why they're trying to change all these things. Anyway, I feel like we're saying the same thing in circles a lot here.
We're saying similar things, but it was the quotes from the players are revealing, right? Because Aaron, I think it was Aaron who also is gave us the standard as the standard. And in this case,
the whole team gave us that at some point.
Right. I think in this way, referring to like the ethos and values and sort of like emotional core. I think that that's more referring to like a sense of responsibility and ownership they feel to their style, to each other. I think, Rick also, we've just gotten like at various points, it's been a little bit malleable from the players and coaches. They want to play, it seems, similar, but when you put them out there and test them, again, I think that there were Aaron Nesmith like dribbling into a pull-up 2, Andrew Nembhard quick trigger pull-up 3. There's clearly process differences that we're seeing, even as they say that they want a similar overall style. And individual players are sort of either filling or not filling the roles that they're being asked to evolve into. I mean, I don't know if you want to go to the center position now, but where I just praised Andrew and Aaron for I was really impressed in the last Spurs game with Aaron Nesmith's off the dribble play. He's driving to the basket, pull up 2. I think all that process stuff looks really good. The process stuff with the centers, honestly, it's hard for me to come up with positives across the 4 games. And my main feeling there was, again, you say you want to play a similar style. Well, Andrew's like dribbling down the floor and like throwing a pitch back to Isaiah Jackson. When that player is Miles Turner, the person guarding Miles Turner is going to run closer to him, maybe not close all the way out to the 3-point line, but they're going to close out more than they close out to Isaiah Jackson, where Luke Cornett is just going to like stand at the free throw line or below the free throw line. And then Andrew gets it back and it's an extreme under on a pick and roll because neither of them are the threats to shoot that Tyrese and Miles were last year. So again, even within there is like a global sense of process, but like the specific players and the specific roles are not hand in glove. It's like, we're off center, like we're skewed there. And I want to see that growth from Aaron and Andrew, but that sense of like off centeredness, while a good thing for the guys who are going to grow into it in a positive way, when your skills aren't fitting and you're not executing at all, like, again, I don't feel that the centers were often enough, then it's just off center. And then the style is just not working. Then the whole thing bogs down. I don't know if you want to go to the centers here, if you have a reaction to my frustration.
I have one more thing to say about that before we get to the centers, yes, and point guards. But before I respond to that, because I actually want to spin something you said into a small positive, maybe positive, actually, we'll see. What are you and Derek Kramer doing this year that fans should know about? 30-second pitch.
We are going to pick a game of the week and go live after that game of the week. It's going to be multi-streamed, I think, across YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So you can join us on whatever platform you use. We hope that it'll be interactive, and we kind of want to just have like a chat with fans post-game. And the first one will be Thursday after the Oklahoma City game.
I'll be in the chat being either annoying or helpful. No guarantee on which one that it is. But that's a good idea. We don't have any right after the game live or even soon after the game live anything in the Pacer space. And I love both you and Derek, so I'm looking forward to that.
And then people can listen to your podcast or Alex and Facci's in the morning.
I love it. Or if you're up till 3 a.m., because that's usually 1 to 3 a.m. after games is usually when I'm home. Okay, you mentioned shooting and threes and the things you were just saying. This is actually, I might be overthinking this, to be clear. I was actually struck by, because they had good shooters a lot before. They made a lot of shots before, but they were always like 15 to 20th in attempt rate. They were 6th in preseason. And I felt like that was a pretty clear emphasis that I fully support for this team. Another way to potentially offset some efficiency loss. Aaron Nesmith is an elite shooter. I would not say anyone else in the team is an elite shooter, but they have a lot of good to pretty good shooters who should be taking more, especially if they can, with the flow of their offense, generate more. I thought that was a good thing that they were able to do that. In the end, they were one of 6. Ironically, being in 6, they were the last team to do it. 6 teams took more than half their shots from 3 in the preseason. The Pacers were among them. And I felt like Aaron Nesmith running full speed into them, Nembhard off his pull-ups, Obi Toppin, a bunch more of his shots as a ratio of his total shots were from deep in the preseason. big men, sometimes not the right big men, but still we're uncorking them. Like, it happened in a way that I'm like, okay, that is maybe something this team is going to try to do without Tyrese, is shift more of their shots beyond the arc. We'll see if that ends up actually becoming a good thing. But I think that that is something smart to try to adjust to, given what they're losing without Miles Turner and Tyrese Haliburton, which is funny to say because those are both great shooters, but they still have good enough shooters to replace the shot attempts.
Yeah, overall, again, I pulled like the first half of all the preseason stats. Their effective field goal percentage was great. It was great last year. It was great this year. That is, if you would have told me that before preseason, I would have been surprised. I was mentally trying to go through and think of who are all the good to pretty good shooters on the team. And I was like, Pascal, Obi, Jarris, Ben. I certainly felt watching the games that the 3-point attempt rate was a strong emphasis. That certainly was a stylistic difference to me. They were taking, again, last year's team stood out, compared to the league, stood out for their ability to take really high quality threes. This team was taking the version of the Pacers we saw in the preseason was taking medium quality threes. And there
were some bad ones. In a way that there were very rarely bad ones last year. There were definitely some bad preseason threes.
Yes. And you're hearing me kind of talk around this because I have this fundamental question as to whether you pick your player. Obi Toppin is probably like the poster child for this. Is the quality of look going to be as good this year? And what does that mean for the effectiveness of the shot? Because like Obi Toppin has been a good to pretty good 3-point shooter recently. For his career, he's not, though. He's like kind of average. And average is fine. There's nothing wrong with average. Pascal Siakam, again, has taken like a big step forward. Is there going to be a small step back, a big step back? I mean, hopefully no step back, but the issue is Tyrese is setting up great shots for these players and compounding the loss of his passing and his own gravity on the court. One of the other 5 players, unless they go centerless, meaning Isaiah Jackson, for example, just has no shooting gravity at all, 0. And that is extremely new. TJ is the other player who has 0 shooting gravity, I guess. But it's new for the starting 5.
But he has gravity in that he gets in the paint and makes a defense go, and we better leave 100%. This guy. Like, that matters.
100%. He 100% has gravity near the rim and at 10 feet away. And I mean, Isaiah Jackson and the preseason, I wouldn't say had gravity. He was anti-gravity, which is kind of cool, like in science fiction. But in this case, it wasn't cool. And I would, again, so this is like a question I have. I know that they shot well in the preseason. Color me skeptical. I just kind of don't believe it's going to hold up in the regular season for real.
I would consider that the same thing I said about what we're talking about. What happened in terms of makes and misses and results, I don't really care about. How they played, I do, because I think that's more translatable and what they were trying to establish. So I don't necessarily think I care that they made a lot of threes. I think it's better, at least giving them chances to win more games, that they took a lot of threes. I think that will be better for the team that they have.
Yeah, there were certainly more instances where Pascal and Drew are the 2 who immediately come to mind, or it was like bailout, like bad shot, like end of shot clock, just hoist.
That is true. Pascal took a 3 where he got in Minnesota. He got an offensive rebound, looked at the rim, dribbled out, and took a 3. And I was like,
I know
whoa,
what you're talking about.
I have never seen him do that before. Like that's new to me. Okay, yes. You said Isaiah Jackson's name. I'm going to blend this with our last topic on the screen of, is this rotation? Do you have rotation certainty now as the Pacers? And that starts with talking about the centers because, look, I believed in the by committee idea. I think that they have players who have NBA skills. They also have 4 centers who have never been a starter on their team ever. And 2 of them are coming off Achilles tears. Isaiah Jackson had the most, I would say, up to the level I expected moments, but also had some just like, what was that moments? Jay Huff missed a lot of shots except for that one game. James Wiseman had one terrific quarter and a lot of head-scratching moments. Everybody had head-scratching moments, to be clear. Tony Bradley was the most consistent guy, but like the floor and ceiling of him are not far apart. He's a fine player. They kept him, right? They kept him for a reason. It's just going to be fascinating to see how long it takes them, if it ever happens, to figure out exactly who should playing with who, how that position can work, what can they get out of these guys. Because right now it feels very much like they change the center rotation every game. Like they're still figuring out all of this, including just how good these players are on their team. And so while I do think Isaiah Jackson has earned the starting spot, I just have endless questions about the both who with who and effectiveness of this position they'll have going into the season.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think we talked about it 3 months ago. You've said it in the interim. I think it was pretty obvious that the Obi Toppin with the starters was going to be the
easily the
best five. Okay, it has been the best five by like leagues. It hasn't been the best five by a little. It's been the best five by miles. And that's unfortunately both like Obi Toppin looks pretty good. He had like a really nice dump off pass on a drive where I was like, how did he get that ball to the, okay, that's great. I'm happy for Obi. But that's also a statement about how bad the other center options are. So, okay, Zarav Zaney, how many minutes a game can the Pacers play without a traditional center on the floor? Okay, maybe I was thinking it was going to be more like 7 or 8. I mean, can we get to like 15 to 18? Can we play with Jarris and Pascal together? Can we play Johnny Furphy? And
that's another strong case for it. Is like if it gives you more chances to play Jarris and Furphy, especially if you don't feel good about the rest of your centers, is that just like worth it on its own?
Well, as the czar of Zaney, it's more than worth it. So yeah, obviously I think so. We're saying Johnny Furphy's name and center in the same sentence, so I'm happy. But I mean, listen, if we're gonna get zanier, I mean, who was how many players did I come out of preseason saying, wow, I'm really excited about them? I felt great about the way Aaron played. I felt great about the way that I felt Andrew was processing the game. Frankly, the result, there's at some point he's like, the guy's got to make those threes though. Like, I'm glad he's taking them, got to make them. It can't just you can't just be like a postseason player in a season where you may not get to the postseason. So Andrew, I felt positively about. I mean, how many players am I going to name before I say Talon Peter? Because not too many more.
Mathurin made everything, and Pascal looked like Pascal.
Yeah, Pascal. I'm kind of setting Pascal mentally to the side. I have no, he's going to be great. I have full faith in him. My trust is complete in Pascal. Yeah, I thought Ben, I was happy to see that he seemed to be dialing up his intensity in the full court pickups. No, it didn't always work, and it's going to have to work. But again, the czar of Zaney demands that we have patience and demands that we allow players to make mistakes.
That was a good preseason for Benn Mathurin, I think. For the season he needs to have, it was a good preseason for him.
Yes, I think so too. But the point is, Tony, you should bring me back down to earth. How many minutes a game can they play without a traditional center on the floor? And how many of those minutes can have someone who we were not expecting to be in that kind of situation take the floor?
Well, the question you're asking is not that hard to answer because Obi is good at the 5, and they've done this for years, right? The reason you typically can't do Warriors with Draymond at the 5 is you're giving up 5 or 6 inches at center. So there's certain lineups you're just getting your butt kicked on the glass, or you're something to that effect. You're playing a dominant post scorer like Şengün, and if you're playing a small guy, it doesn't work. Obi, good player, fits well on the Pacers, defends at the same level to me defending 4s and 5s, right? Doesn't matter. You're getting the same quality, maybe even better at the 5, honestly, of defense out of Obi Toppin. His offensive abilities, shooting, spacing, towards the rim play, whatever, works at both spots. You do lose something in terms of size and a little bit on the glass. He's not quite the rebounder it feels like he should be with his bounce and ability, but he's on the perimeter a lot. So it's you probably could do it. I mean, they did it. They've done it in certain series, but you could probably do it 20 minutes a game. Should they? I don't know, but they could, I would say, right?
I mean, if you're saying 20, then I want 25. Let's get a majority of the minutes centerless at that point.
If I said 48, would you have said 53? Every game goes to overtime?
That would be an exciting season. I mean, we might have a higher mortality rate as people die of heart attacks. I think that the postseason last year, I mean, listen, I lost weight just from the stress of that environment. So I probably, for my own well-being, shouldn't advocate for every game to have 53 centerless minutes. But it's a really interesting idea. Like, why not? But the problem, okay, like the spacing, the passing, I mean, too often the fouling and defense, like you just the center position just has to give you something.
Yes.
And way too often it was just like a flat out 0. And at times,
the first Spurs game was literally 48 minutes of 0.
It was I was going to say the first Spurs game was a negative. Position was
outside of the OB minutes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to crap on them too much. I just said that on my island where I am the czar of the zany, we have to let people make mistakes. So that needs to happen. You're hearing criticism from me because at a certain point, the mistakes become so profound that they harm the development and play of the rest of the team. Yep. It's not just like Benn Mathurin's getting burned and like that harms the rest of the team, but like it's also how you improve. At the point guard and the center position in different ways right now, the Pacers are sort of in this world where they are at risk of that position, backup point guard, any of the centers, being so harmful to the rest of the team's offensive flow, spacing, and style that growth isn't happening for anybody. Like there's no let Ben be Ben. There's no let Ben develop new things because he's just getting double, like the paint is walled off because help is coming from the center position who's spaced to a corner from which they can't shoot. So Ben doesn't get that kind of development. You don't get to see Johnny Murphy.
The poster play of this, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I already mentioned it on this podcast. I want to do it again. Pascal is driving in the second quarter of the second Spurs game. James Wiseman's in the dunker, and they're trying throughout the game to get James Wiseman going toward the rim on a cut when that drive happens, and it worked. Once they got it going, it worked. But when the timing was off, Wiseman's man just steps right towards Pascal, and there's nothing. There's no shot. There's no pass. There is nothing available in that moment. And that's what I'm interpreting. But I mean, that's what I would mean by harmful to development is there's no good shot for any player on the floor. Even the guy attacking the basket who's trying to get a good rep gets nothing out of it. It's not necessarily even Wiseman's fault. It's just like you get what I'm saying. There's nothing you can do about that. It's not helping anybody.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. And with Pascal specifically, he's a great player and it's like a bummer. I'm going to be like annoyed when it's Benn Mathurin and it's like, oh, there's not even a dump off pass that he's supposed to hit there because it's gone. I'm going to be annoyed if it's Johnny Murphy and it's like, oh, I guess he doesn't have the driving game that we all saw in Summer League or preseason because the paint's walled off. So I have this fear about both positions and is the rotation a certainty now is the question you started us off with, Tony. I mean, I do not think the rotation is a certainty. I have no idea what to expect from the backup point guard minutes. I don't have any idea what to expect from the distribution of the center minutes. At least on the latter question, I would like to see a lot of centerless play. I would rather start there personally. Though I fundamentally am also okay with like trying out J Huff a little bit more. That's fine. On the backup point guard stuff, I mean, we're not going to be joking about Point Jarris. It's going to be like, well, is he actually like the third best option, or is it Ben Shepherd? I mean, I don't know, Tony. That's the kind
do you mean with Quentin Jackson healthy, or do you mean right this second?
Immediately, right this second.
Okay.
I mean, right this second. Who is rank them after Andrew Nembhard? Like rank your preferred. Bring up ball handlers.
Well, Jarris is hurt too.
Yeah, so take Pascal out. Okay, who rank them? Who is next on your list?
I mean, Peter played pretty good.
It's a disaster. Yeah,
the answer for me would be Ray J. Dennis. I'm not kidding. But I would not be hesitant to try Peter. I mean, Ray J. Dennis can pass and like get you organized. He's inefficient, but he can do that.
Okay, who's next after Ray J?
Hold on. Can I close the loop on centers and then we do this? Hypothetically scary exercise. Actually, the drama of the way we're doing this is good. After Ray J, it's probably Talon. I mean, it's not great. I've
already stated that my preferred second option at the center position is not a center. So you can rank your preferred options at the center position, and maybe you have J Huff second or Tony Bradley. Shout out Tony Bradley. hasn't gotten a mention on the podcast yet. And you know what?
Yes. I said he's the same floor. I said he's a similar floor and ceiling. That was not like a long mention, but I said his name.
He's got a chance, man. I didn't expect to be here, but here we are.
Closing the loop on center, to me, I do think they had I think it was so inconsistent that it was alarming, because there were moments where I was like, look at that. Isaiah's defense is good right there. Good steal, good perimeter D, blocked a couple shots. Like that, if he can figure something out on offense, that's good. Like a good defensive player who can do stuff on offense is good. Jay Huff, even by me, is getting killed for not making shots. He shot 12.5% from three. That's obviously awful. I'm not trying to defend that. He made 47% of all his shots. If he made a normal percentage of threes, his field goal percentage would be like 58, right? Like if he shoots better when the season starts, not even like good, just better. Or we're going to be like, okay, that's efficient enough. Like I get how he creates his shots. He's very tall and he can shoot threes. Wiseman, if the guy smaller than him is 3 or 4 inches shorter, it's just like automatic that he's going to turn over his shoulder and have a good look at the rim. Tony Bradley scoops up every rebound that's like even close to him. Like they did do some stuff that I'm like, yeah, okay. Like there's a matchup where you are the right player to have on the floor. But there are also moments where it was like, oh my God, what is going on? So that will be the story of the center position to me this year. 1, how much are they playing Obi? And 2, how long does it take to get these Achilles guys, or a guy like Huff who's played 95 games? I had to look this up today just for funsies. Cam Whitmore has played more games than Jay Huff in the NBA. 2023 first-round pick Cam Whitmore, who's already been traded. More games than Jay Huff. Jarris Walker, who everybody thought did not play at all in his rookie season, and that Rick does not play enough. Jarris Walker has played more NBA games than Jay Huff. It's very fun to go through the 2023 draft class and see who has played more NBA games than Jay Huff, including likes of Nick Smith Jr. and Julian Phillips and Jalen Wilson. These are not bad players, but like that is the experience level Jay Huff has. We have no idea. So I want to know how long it's going to take them to find consistency, if at all, at the 5 from their non-OB players, because the gap from their best to worst in preseason was enormous. We closed that point guard where Andrew Nembhard was throwing ahead and hitting guys cutting to the basket at the right time, and his handle was nice, and he could get to his little pet shots, and he took more threes, and like that's all great. No problem. Confident in him. TJ's hurt. I thought Quentin Jackson might be back for the opener when they cut Campaign. Rick Carlisle says no. Now I'm kind of shrugging. I'm like, they're going to be relying on some, let's say, clever stuff. And they tipped that when they went to Talon and Ben Shepherd together in that Spurs game. I thought that was about evaluating, are they like, I guess it did end up being this way. Like, do they need Campaign? That's why I thought they would keep Campaign, is because of all these injuries. Even if they don't like him, just try him for 5 games. If it sucks, whatever. But they're going to be the reason their rotation is not a certainty is because they don't have they literally have no experience. Ray J. Dennis played 8 games last year. Taylor Peter is literally a rookie right now. Like when Q and TJ are back, great. Like those are fine backup point guards. I think when Q is healthy, it should immediately be him until TJ's back. But right now, I don't know. I have no idea.
I think it was an outright mistake to let Campaign go.
That is not. I predicted that would not happen. And then it still didn't. I can explain why, because he did not play well, but they're so hurt. I'm still surprised.
Yeah. Again, watching the preseason, I did not come away impressed with Campaign at all. I have also watched Campaign in other settings with the Knicks, with the Suns. I have seen his body of work more than just a couple moments here and there, more than I've seen Ray J. Dennis, for example. And like bad Campaign. The point that I made earlier is the one I'm going to make again. You reach a point where it's like somewhat like you have the natural friction of development. And at a certain point, it gets so bad. And at the point guard position more than any other, it gets so bad where your inability to organize an offense means that no one runs the offense, no one else develops. You actively are harming the rest of the team. And the Pacers have chosen to put themselves in a position where at the backup point guard minutes to begin the season in the matchup where they will play for the best of 9 title, they are going to trot out point guard, bring up ball handlers that are at risk of being that degree of bad that we are harming everyone on the floor together for too many possessions in a game. And that sucks. And it was preventable, at least like on the margins with Campaign. They should be signing. I mean, I would love to get off our talk right now, Tony, and learn that they've signed someone new, because you just can't play this way. You can't be like, I can brainstorm on my Czar of Zany Island a number of different lineups that don't feature a traditional center. The Pacers have 4 centers, and I can think of ways not to use any of them. They have 1 healthy point guard, and when we're not playing with that person on the floor, I'm almost out of ideas. And it's like, well, Pascal, yeah, first game of the season. I know you loved how we managed your minutes last year. Give us 40.
Yeah, they're going to be tested on that. Ray J. Dennis, man, we'll see. He might really be playing. Like for, and I'm not even saying that to critique him. I've watched him a lot with the Mad Ant / Boom and been like, yeah, this guy can run an offense, but making shots is important, and he's tiny. Like, it's going to matter.
I would actually probably pick Ray J second on our fake draft of who else besides Andrew Nembhard is bringing up the ball in the minutes when the bench is playing together. And maybe simply in the first game of the season, or as long as Q is hurt, the bench doesn't play together and they stagger minutes way more dramatically than we ever expect them to do the rest of the year. But they've chosen to put themselves in a bad position. And Talon, Ben, Shepard, I don't think that should be the first choice.
Is assists per game the perfect reflection of your abilities to play point guard? Absolutely not. Am I going to read you the 1st through 7th player in assists per game for the Pacers in the preseason right now? Yes, I am. Number 1, Andrew Nembhard at 5. Great, he's going to start. Number 2 at 3.7, Jarris Walker, who cut up that Thunder zone from the middle over and over again. If the other team's playing zone, maybe he could be the lead ball handler. Number 3, Pascal Siakam. Number 4, Talon Peter, shredding the Spurs. Passing against the Thunder, look at that. And number 5, Quentin Jackson. 6, TJ McConnell. 7, Ray J. Dennis. If they're not willing to go Jarris, or he's hurt, if they're not willing to go Talon because he's a rookie, Ray J. Dennis legitimately might be their backup point guard to start the season. And that, Kyle, is where we end today. I will probably put this in the beginning if something happens between now, because this is coming out on Tuesday. There's a chance we just had a point guard conversation when they signed one. I don't know. But anyway, this was very fun. The preseason was something. The regular season will be fun. And tomorrow I'll talk more about it with Kalen Cooper. Kyle, where can people find you, the things you do, the things you say about the Indiana Pacers and other basketball teams?
I am mostly talking about basketball on Twitter /X at @1KyleTaylor, where you will find me not talking about New York's best. Well, we'll see if there's. I was going to say New York's best basketball team, but that's not true anymore after the Liberty's extremely disappointing end to the season.
Yeah, but now Laney Hamilton, I have underrated you your whole career. I apologize. You were much more important than I realized to the New York Liberty, is my takeaway from the extremely disappointing. They were like the opposite of the Pacers, who started bad and ended awesome. They were so awesome, and then they forgot how to rebound, and they just fell apart completely. It was a very strange season for the Liberty. On that note, we'll be back tomorrow. Kyle, you're the best. This was awesome. I hope everybody learned something, because even you say things that I'm like, I didn't think of that. I need to consider that. Back tomorrow talking more Pacers. Till then, everybody, have a wonderful day.